Greetings, it's Executive Ostrich here. Today we're going to be reviewing Webkinz Deluxe only games. So here's how I'm going to be reviewing them. Kinz cash to time ratio. How much bang can I get for my buck? Creativity. This one is self-explanatory. Lastly, would I get deluxe for it? Let's get into it. So first we have Wheel of Deluxe. This one I give a 10 out of 10. Kinz cash to time ratio. I mean, it's a wheel. Creativity I give a 5 out of 10. It is also a wheel. There's a ton of them here. And when I get deluxe for it, no, there's a ton of other wheels I could spin. Next is Dogbeards Gold. For Kinz cash to time ratio, I give a 4 out of 10. I felt like I didn't get a ton of Kinz cash for all the work I put in. For creativity, I give a 6 out of 10. I feel like a mobile game, it's not the most original concept, and would I get deluxe for it? No. Next we have Grand Grotto. For Kinz cash to time ratio, I give a 2 out of 10. Yeah, I just didn't get a lot of Kinz cash, but I feel like it's not one to play if you need Kinz cash. For creativity, I give a 6 out of 10. It's cute, but it's kind of a poor man's Atlantiles, and I'm not even a big fan of that game. And would I get deluxe? Absolutely not. Next we have Wacky Zingos Extreme. For Kinz cash to time, I give it 5 out of 10. It's not really the game you go if you are really in a need to buy that curio shop item. It's just never been. Creativity, I give a 2 out of 10. I have a bone to pick with this because it's called Extreme, and you would think it would be some fancy thing, but no, it's just 2 different clubs that you could pick. And would I buy deluxe? No, there's the original I can play right there. Next up is Bounce and Burst. For Kinz cash to time, I give a 5 out of 10. It doesn't really give me that much Kinz cash, but if you're better at the game, you can get a lot. For creativity, I give a 7 out of 10. I can't say I've seen anything like it. And would I buy deluxe? Probably not. Next is Crafty Canaries. For Kinz cash to time, I give a 9 out of 10. I feel like this game gives a lot of Kinz cash for what you actually do. Creativity, I give an 8 out of 10. I thought I would rate this low, but I find it unique that you actually have to kind of move the bars up rather than do like a match 3 puzzle, which I thought was unique for the concept. Would I buy deluxe? Yeah, probably. Next is Dashing Dolphin. For Kinz cash to time, I give it a 5 out of 10. I feel like you don't get a ton for what you do, although maybe it takes me effort because I have really bad coordination. For creativity, I give a 7 out of 10. I think it's cool with the theming, and it's pretty innovative for the time it was made. And would I get deluxe for it? No. Next up is Eager Beaver. For Kinz cash to time, I give it 8 out of 10. Now, you do get a lot of Kinz cash. It takes you forever to get that. Creativity, I give a 6 out of 10. I think I've seen similar stuff to it, and I like the theming of it. Would I get deluxe for it? Yeah, I need that Kinz cash. Next is Get 11 Solitaire. For a Kinz cash to time ratio, I give it a 6 out of 10. It's kind of based on luck whether you get a lot or not. For creativity, I give it a 9 out of 10 because for Solitaire, where you have to do like, I mean, yeah, you have to do math, but like, you have to do math specifically to 11. Like, I don't know, I just think it's unique. Would I get deluxe for it? I would sell my soul for this game. I would start a revolution to get this game to be not deluxe again. If Gans ever watches this, please make that game a regular member thing. Okay, back on track. For Hatch the Dragon, I give Kinz cash to time 6 out of 10. I feel like you get a lot depending on like how far you get, how you place it. Creativity, I give an 8 out of 10 because initially I thought it was gonna be like, oh, boring, you're gonna be swiping, but like it's interesting because you have to kind of place it right to get points. Would I buy deluxe? Maybe, depends on my mood. N Skunk. Kinz cash to time, I give a 3 out of 10. I don't get a ton of Kinz cash for all the thinking I have to do. Creativity, 4 out of 10. I don't know, it just feels like a more confusing version of Sudoku. Sudoku? Do I not know how to pronounce that? Oh my god, that's embarrassing. Maybe I don't understand the game, but like, it's just confusing. Would I buy deluxe for it? No. Okay, Iceberg Escapades. For Kinz cash to time, I give it 3 out of 10 because I barely get any Kinz cash for all that coordination I have to do. Creativity, I give a 4 out of 10. I don't know, it's not a ton of like effort to be like, oh wait, let's just rip off our original game and then let's fool everyone, make them think it's that game, but then just make them use like a space bar. Oh, that's innovation. Like, if I were to describe meh as a game, it would either be this or Leapin Llama, which you'll hear about. So would I buy deluxe? No. Next Next is Jazz Monsters. For Kin's Cash to Time, I give it a 6 out of 10. I think I get a decent amount of Kin's Cash. It just depends how focused I am. Creativity, I give a 7 out of 10. I like making music therapy jokes to this. Would I buy Deluxe? Maybe. I do like the concept. Next is Jumbleberry Blast. For Kin's Cash to Time, I give it a 7 out of 10. For creativity, I give it a 3 out of 10. It's basically a ripoff of Polish Blast. Would I get Deluxe for it? No, that cute Polish game exists already. And it has better power-ups, and the way the power-ups work are just better. Next we have Leapin Llama. For Kin's Cash to Time ratio, I give it a 6 out of 10. You can get some Kin's Cash with this, but it's not substantial. For creativity, I give it a 5 out of 10. It's one of those been there, done that game. Would I buy Deluxe? No. Next is Quizzy's Word Challenge. For Kin's Cash to Time ratio, I give it a 6 out of 10. Creativity, I give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's pretty cool for like a word game. You don't typically see how you construct the word on here. It's kind of like the earth. You know, you got your crust, you got your mantle, you got your outer core, you got your inner core. You know what I mean with this. And would I buy Deluxe? Maybe. I like word games, but I feel like Eager Beaver's the way to go if I'm gonna be playing word games. Next up is Skater Cat. For Kin's Cash to Time, I give it a 5 out of 10. You probably can get more. I'm just really bad at this game. For creativity, I give it an 8 out of 10. Now, I would have rated this much lower since I compare it to Kart Surfer. I looked up and I realized that this game actually came before Kart Surfer, so Kart Surfer is the imitation game, but that game gets more credit. Would I buy Deluxe? The music is very tempting, but no. Here is Stardrops. Kin's Cash to Time, I give it a 6 out of 10. I feel like I could get a decent amount of Kin's Cash. For creativity, I give a 7 out of 10. I feel like the little like box of 9 concept, like how you're catching the stars in a little net. I like that. I feel like it's cool. Would I buy Deluxe? Maybe. Depends on my mood. Next is Tunneling Twigsley. I don't know. I don't like this game. For Kin's Cash to Time, I give it a 4 out of 10. I don't know. For all that effort of me figuring out how not to get crushed, I don't get a lot of Kin's Cash reward. Creativity, I give a 5 out of 10. It's kind of like, I feel like I've seen it somewhere. I can't put my finger on it. Would I buy Deluxe? No. Here's Waddell's IceCap Adventure. For Kin's Cash to Time, I give it a 6 out of 10. I feel like it's a fair amount of Kin's Cash for what you do. Creativity, I give a 7 out of 10. It is one of the cutest themes. Would I get Deluxe for it? Possibly. Here's Whimsy Skies. For Kin's Cash to Time ratio, I give it a 5 out of 10. It's pretty average. Creativity, I give a 4 out of 10. Basically, it's the dragon version of Hungry Hog. So, I mean, they've kind of done this concept before. And would I get Deluxe? No. Hungry Hog 1 and Hungry Hog 2 exist. Next up is Zingoz Bounce. For Kin's Cash to Time, I give it a 2 out of 10. Maybe I'm bad at this, but I don't get a ton of Kin's Cash. Creativity, I give it 2 out of 10. It's pretty much a mashup of Wacky Zingos with the scoring and a clickable Atari Breakout. Fun. Would I get Deluxe for this? Bouncing a ball in my own yard would be more fun than playing this game, so my answer is no. Next up is Zingoz Pie Throw. Oh boy, what a doozy of a game. I'll get to that later. Okay, Kin's Cash to Time, I give it an 8 out of 10. I got a ton of Kin's Cash at this, as you could see on the screen, but it took me like over an hour to get that Kin's Cash, and I was like, maybe I'll get the trophy, just maybe. And no trophy. I got to like level 41, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna dip. Creativity, I give an 8 out of 10, because how many pie throwing games have you seen? Like, I mean, I know you've seen board games, but like virtual games? I don't know, I really like it. Would I get Deluxe? I miss this game so much. I used to play this all the time, so yeah, maybe for the nostalgia I would get it. And also, might I point out, the music stops like in level 30, so they gotta get on that. Next up is Zingoz Pop. Kin's Cash to Time ratio, I give it a 7 out of 10. I feel like I get a decent amount. Creativity, for the old version, I give an 8 out of 10 because that old version is bomb, nostalgic, the better version. The new version, I give a 3 out of 10. If you want a hint at how unoriginal the new version is, my mom literally plays the same exact game, just in a different crappy mobile game. Would I get Deluxe for this? For the old version, absolutely. For the new version, no. Next up is Zingoz Zangoz. Finally! The end of the Zingos, the Zangos, the Mango, the Wacky, the Zacky. That saga is over. Kinz Cash the Time, I give it a 6 out of 10. Pretty average. Creativity, I give a 5 out of 10. How I describe this? Basically a Walmart fruit ninja, except the fruit is being squashed and, I guess, dropped instead of sliced. It's okay. Would I get Deluxe? No. Finally, our last game, Treasures of the Crystal Sea. Now, I wasn't sure whether to include this one, but I mean, it's technically a game, and the Vacation Island was made deluxe. I played this in my last video, so I guess it counts. Yo, is this the game that I got so angry at when I was younger? And I would like complain to my parents and they're like, this is such an insignificant issue. And I'm like, but mom. It did bring back some memories. Kinz Cash the Time, I give a 5 out of 10. Too much coordination and fight or flight for the amount of Kinz Cash you get. Creativity, I give a 7 out of 10. I will say it is similar to the Club Penguin game. Oh, I don't remember what it's called. It's like the one that I didn't like either. I don't like these games where I have to maneuver stuff because I'm not coordinated at all. Finally, would I get Deluxe for this game? Nah. Here are the rankings stacked up next to each other. I'm gonna wrap up this video by doing some little superlatives that I thought of. Music. If you're anything like me, you have certain games that you only play for the music. You don't play for the game, you don't play for the Kinz Cash, you just play to listen to the music. My third best, Stardrops. It's groovy, it's danceable, I dance every time I hear it. Number 2, Bounce and Burst. Yas, B-flat chords. And number 1, this isn't a shock, Skater Cat. It's such a bop. Level 1 though. Level 2 is, it sounds like that music that is stored in your computer and you didn't know you had until you're like, wait, there's music on this thing? Next superlative, overall worst. So, number 3, Tunnel Twigzy. Tunnel Twigsley. I can't explain why I don't like this game. I just don't like this game. It's not fun for me. I only do it for challenges. Number 2, Iceberg Escapades. I always mistake this for Waddell's IceCap adventure, and then when I click it, I'm very disappointed. The Razzie for worst game, Zingoz Bounce. It's a waste of time. Next up, we'll end this on a positive note. Overall best, number 3, Zingoz Pie Throw. I was surprised I picked this one, but I really like this game. After playing it for hours and hours at 1 AM, I was like, this is actually kind of fun. Number 2, Eager Beaver. This one is a little bit of a cash cow. I mean, the last one was a cash cow, but this is also a big cash cow. I do like playing this game when I have the time, and when I feel like spending an hour thinking of words that are clever. Number 1, not a shock to anyone, get 11 Solitaire. Why I love this game, I do not know. I just really like it. I don't know, I think because it's quicker, like I could play this like when I'm in a rush versus the other two where if I'm in a rush, I'm screwed. Yeah, alright, that is it for tonight. Subscribe if you want to hear more about my childhood playing Webkinz, and I'll see you next time. Bye!